Hello my friends and welcome back to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I'm of course Kevin. You may have also seen me on Tabletop Jones Productions where John and I are the two idiots playing board games. And today, well, I know it's a week late for those of you who followed the cooking video, but I'm doing it today. I was not feeling very well last week and I decided, you know what, best to not, do the cooking video when I'm not really feeling well. Yeah, it was pretty much a nice little roller coaster with with my temperature and all that, so I said, you know what, let's wait. Let's wait a week. And I think it's going to be worth the wait because today, I mean, I know I've been doing very simple things in the previous videos. Today is going to be a little bit more involved, a little bit more complex. I am going to make a dish called Chicken Fettuccine Alfredo. Excuse me. Yes, I learned how to make, well, haven't done it yet. This will be actually my first attempt. But I did look up how to make Alfredo sauce. And so, I'm going to be doing that. But now, okay, so some recipes I did learn from my ex-wife. And not that I learned how to make this one from her, but I did see how she prepares it. So this is something, that I'm basically going to be preparing it very much the same way that she did. I don't remember how she made the Alfredo sauce, which is why I had to look it up. So I don't know if I'm making it the same way she did. But the rest of it I am going to do in the same way. So basically, I'm going to be cutting up pieces of chicken breast meat to for the actual chicken. I do have fettuccine pasta. Stop and Shop had them on sale. Well, had pasta on sale. Excuse me. And I have all the ingredients to make the Alfredo sauce, but also I'm going to be cooking up some bacon and putting that in there because that's how that's how I always had it. So that's how I'm going to make it. So it's going to be a lot of preparation. I don't know how long this video is going to wind up being because of it, but it is going to be a lot of preparation. There's going to be a lot of different things happening. Sometimes a lot of different things happening at once. But first, I'm going to make the bacon. I'm going to get that out of the way first. After that, I'm going to make the Alfredo sauce and have that ready to go for when I need it. Then I'm going to cook up the chicken. I'm probably going to cook up the chicken and the pasta at the same time. Because I was looking up, I did actually look up directions on how to make chicken fettuccine alfredo. Of course, that didn't mention anything about bacon. That's going to be something I'm going to do just for a little extra. And trust me, it's good. So basically, it's like it says to sear the chicken in a skillet pan. So I'm pretty much going to try to cook it a good amount, so this way I know it's cooked all the way through. I will have the pasta cooked. They said do it al dente. I might do a little bit more than al dente because it is going to actually cook a little bit more in the big skillet pan once it's there, and of course once it's covered in the sauce and all that. So yeah, it's going to be a little, a bit of preparation, but in the end, it's going to be worth it. All right. So anyway, so stay tuned, and when we come back, I'll be in the kitchen and I'll get started. All right. I might just have to clean up a little bit first. All right. See you in a bit. Okay. Here I am in the kitchen, and first, like I said, we're going to get started on the bacon. So bacon, I know most of us know how to make bacon. So yeah, I'll just show, pretty much show me setting it up, and then take a break, and then come back and show you when it's pretty much ready to come off. The skittle. The griddle, I mean. Well, here we go. Let me just show you what I got. So I got my double burner griddle pan. As you can see over here, I got my package of bacon. It happens to be the Jimmy Dean brand, and it's Applewood smoked. And why did I use this? Well, it's what I have, and it's what I grabbed when I put my hand in the refrigerator. I do have a couple of different packages of bacon, because in my opinion, you can never have enough bacon. Bacon is one of God's gifts, and it tastes so good. Yeah, it may not be the healthiest thing in the world, but it really is tasty. So, as most of us know, you just peel it off the rest, and you line up where you're cooking it. Now, and I'm sure some people will say you don't need a whole package of bacon for this meal, and I guess they're right, but I'm going to use the whole package, not only because I like bacon, but because I'm also not just feeding myself, I am also feeding my two kids. I mean, they're adult kids, they can eat. And this is a dish that they have been missing, as well as I have. and we're going to enjoy this when it is finished. Although, alas, at the end, I will be taking a bite without them at the table because they do not want to be on camera. And you know what? That's okay, because they want their privacy, and I respect that. So, but I will refer to them every now and again because I don't want to deny the fact that I have kids. All right, so here, pretty much lined up the entire skillet pan, and I have, like I said, I have one that fits over 2 burners, so that's where gives me a little bit of an advantage because I can fit more pieces of bacon on it. Now let me clean my hands before I start to grab the camera. Okay, so anyway, well, before I lift it up, so you can see here, I got a nice little container to put my bacon in. I have a paper towel down to catch all the grease. Whatever grease is left in the pan, I basically have a jar that I'm going to pour it into, and let me tilt this. There we go. So, I know there isn't much sun out today, but I keep getting it. I know there isn't much sun out today. It's actually very raining. It's raining a lot today. It's going to be raining most of this weekend. This is Memorial Day weekend when I'm doing this. So yeah, it's going to be raining throughout the weekend, but there is still a bit of sun. Oh, you can start to hear the sizzle. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna let this start. I've always found out that the first bunch of bacon that you put on is always it takes the longest to start, but after that it goes quick. So I'm gonna try to get this a little bit crispy, not too crispy that it's like burnt, but a little bit crispy where it's not like soft. Actually, a request from my daughter, and so when the time comes, I will be cutting this up, into little tiny bits. So this way, I can mix it in with the chicken, the fettuccine, and of course the Alfredo sauce. And mix it. I don't want to leave it in big pieces like. Well, it's not going to actually be a big piece like this, as we all know, because of all the fat and bacon. It does shrink. But still, it's going to be a. Well, you're not going to tell from the camera. It's still, even with strips as big as what I just put down, when after all is said and done, it's still going to be about like a 6 to 8 inch strip of bacon. So I'm going to cut those down into little tiny bits, almost like bacon bits. I don't want to infringe on any copyrights here. And so and then like I said, when I have, I'll put it aside, leave it like that, and then when I'm ready, I'll just mix it in with everything else. All right, so I'm gonna let this cook a bit, and when I come back, I'm gonna flip them over, see how well they're cooking on the one side, and so we'll flip them over, probably take another break, let them cook some more, or maybe even I'll finish it off and I'll start on the other strips. We'll see. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna take a little break, let this cook, and I will be right back. It's probably gonna be only a few minutes my time. Back, and so let me just show you a little bit of progress here. So I have like a second batch of bacon on to finish the package. So this is what it's looking like as it's finished. It's a bit more crispy than I would normally make for myself, but this is not like I said, not just for me. It is for my kids, and it is for a specific recipe. So I'm gonna let this finish up. It's probably not going to take that long because after the first batch. Let me bring this back up. After the first batch, I've always found out that the bacon cooks up a lot quicker. So I'm going to get all this, pretty much done and put aside. I'm going to start gathering my ingredients together for the Alfredo sauce. All right, so stay tuned. I will be back. Okay, the bacon is pretty much all done. It's all off. Let me see if I can, yeah. Pretty much this is what I got for bacon. And like I said, we're going to sprinkle that in later. Probably be the last thing I put in. But I have now started to make the Alfredo sauce. So I'm following a recipe that I found online. And first part is to take a half a cup of butter, which is like a full stick, from the big sticks. And it says 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, which they said it was about 2 to 3 cloves. So I just basically took 2 to 3 cloves and I put it in my garlic press. All right, so there. So yeah, the butter's all melted. So now we're going to put in the garlic to saute it. Spread it around a bit. Okay, now it does say that this recipe only takes about 10 minutes to do. So now, it says cook for about a minute or until fragrant. Do not let the garlic brown. So we cannot let the garlic get too cooked. And after that, is when we start adding the cream, which is, I bought a quart of heavy whipping cream, which actually I only needed to buy a pint, but I didn't have the recipe with me when I was in the supermarket. So we're going to start off, of course, with a cup. And then once I get that in, I'll fill it up halfway and then do it again. So, okay, it's starting. It's like we don't want it to get it to brown, so let's put this in. I'm going to lower the light a bit. That's 1 cup. And this is half a cup. Okay. Pressing it out. Okay. It says let's simmer lightly for 2 to 3 minutes. And whisking frequently, which is pretty much doing this. After this, okay, so I had to get grated Parmesan cheese. Now, some people will say, you buy a chunk of it, grate it yourself, and had I the opportunity to do that, I would have. But I did not. So, being that I was working within a very tight budget, and I really couldn't do too much travel, being that I don't own a car, I basically opted to get the store-bought, and we're going to just use that. Okay, so it is going to be 2 cups of it. So just going to let this cook for a little bit. I said 2 to 3 minutes, and touch it back up to me. All right, so like I said, this is my first attempt at this. It is starting to get a little bit, brownish, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. So in about maybe a minute, I'll just keep the camera on for now. In about maybe a minute, I'm going to start putting in. Sorry about that. The Parmesan cheese, and because and then after that, it's just a little bit of seasoning with salt and pepper, which I'll put a little bit in. So once that's done, I'm basically going to take that and put it aside. I'm going to start on the other things, which is basically going to be cooking. I'm going to cut up the chicken, get that in, start that cooking, and I will start getting the water boiling for the pasta, for the fettuccine pasta. So it's okay. So it's starting to bubble a little bit more. So let me tilt the camera down first. Okay. Okay. Oh, look at that. It's getting more and more white. I think that's been about 2 to 3 minutes. Let's see. So it does say to put this in sparingly. So I'm going to put a little bit in. Does it say to keep whisking it? It doesn't really say, but let's get it moving. Okay, we've got to give it some time to let the Parmesan cheese melt thoroughly before we add more. Like I said, this is my first time attempting this. I'm going to use a regular serving spoon now. Yeah. It's going to add a little bit more. Now it does say also, when I was looking up how to make chicken fettuccine Alfredo, it did say to save some of the pasta water to thin this up if it gets too thick. I'll be honest, I don't mind it getting thick, but we'll see. Maybe I'll save it anyway. Here, put the heavy cream away. All right. So let's see. think the Parmesan cheese is melting pretty good. I mean, there are a little bit of clumps here and there that I am trying to smooth out right now. I'm also trying to do this without getting a little too aggressive, because then I tend to fling what I have in the pan out of the pan. All right, let's get a little bit more in there. Oh, it's actually thickening up quite a bit. Just trying to break down the clumps that I see. Alright, this is going to be interesting where I put this. While I got everything else cooking, I might just try to put it over there and have the bigger skillet pan right here with the chicken. Alright, I'm going to add the last of it. Here we go. Okay. So when I looked up the instructions, it was basically 4 steps. So, I mean, it didn't seem like it was that hard to make, and, well, I mean, so far so good. I mean, we haven't tried it yet, but so far so good, right? All right. So it's a nice little bit of a thick consistency. Not too bad. Actually, this is the kind of consistency that I actually want. I'm going to let that cook a bit more while I clean up a bit. Okay. That's the fork I used with the bacon. All right. Okay. Said about 10 minutes. I think this actually took less than that. I'll tell you this, my son really loves to cook. Got to show him how to do this. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. Stir that up. All right. So, okay, you know what? I believe we have achieved. I'm going to turn it up a little bit, get this to bubble just a little bit. Make sure it's thoroughly cooked through, although it is liquid, so. All right. And of course, once I get it in the skillet pan with everything, it's going to be cooking for a bit with all that. All right. I think we can call this done. I'm going to cover this so that nothing gets in with it. And all right. Okay, so bacon's done, Alfredo sauce is done. So next, I'm going to start up the both the chicken, and I'm going to start the water boiling for the pasta. Now it says with the well, you know, I think I'll start the water boiling first. I think I'm going to wait until the water is boiling so I can put the pasta in while I'm cooking the chicken. So might be a bit, well, on my end it might be a bit, but you're going to see me in like a couple of seconds. All right, so I'm going to get all that set up. You stay tuned. I will be back. Okay, I'm back, and so I got a lot of the chicken cut up. It's in the skillet pan. I'm going to save one. I'm going to cut up on camera, but I'm not going to do that just yet. We're going to get the pasta cooked first. All right, so the pot just started to steam up, and it's just about to boil. So, and there's my pot. Now, pretty much, see, fettuccine in the pot. So as you can see, the fettuccine is like a nice flat kind of, like flattish, pasta. So That was easy, wasn't it? So anyway, so we're gonna let that start to cook. You know, this says to, you know, al dente. Al dente means like, you know, just a little bit tough still. So I'm gonna let it cook for a bit. I mean, right now some of it's sticking out of the pot, but once it starts to boil and get soft, it will all be in. And once we're done with that, then I'll start on the chicken. All right, so you know, and now with the chicken, I don't know if anybody saw the cooking video I did where I did the boneless chicken thighs. Pretty much going to do the same thing. I'm not going to put any oil in the pan. I'm going to let the chicken's own natural juices, you know, come out and add to the flavor. All right. So anyway, so we're going to let that go. I mean, I know this is a quick segment, but you know, there's a lot of stuff going on for this type of meal. So, like I said, I'm going to let that cook, and when I come back, we're going to start getting the chicken ready. All right. So stay tuned. I will be back. And well, the pasta seems to be done. I did try a piece. A little bit tough, so you know that's al dente. All right, so now I'm going to cut up the last piece of chicken, and I'm going to get started in the skillet pan. All right, so let's bring this down. Okay. So got myself a good knife. Cutting it in kind of like cubish type pieces. You know, not too big, not too small. This way they can all cook pretty evenly. All right. Okay. I see. Like I said, not too big, not too small. Get it all in there. I'm going to start the light on that. Get this spread out a little bit more. I will cover it for now. All right. So basically, so what's next is, you know, we let this cook, get a you know, let it, you know, cook pretty much. I mean, it says to shear it, but I would say let it cook all the way through. Make sure it is cooked all the way through. Once it is, we add the pasta, we add the Alfredo sauce, and well, I'll cut up the bacon and, you know, to nice little pieces. Let that get in there, let it mix up. Now the only thing basically this doesn't include is the vegetables, which I'm going to add, you know, myself. I'm just gonna take the easy way out. Just gonna have a bunch of carrots ready to go. But you know, this is gonna stay in the skillet pan when I get it to the table. It's not really a one pot meal, but you know, or one pan meal, but you know, we're gonna keep it there. All right. So anyway, so let's let this cook, and you know, pretty much when I come back, we're gonna start putting everything together. All right. So stay tuned, and I will be back. And well, looks like the chicken is thoroughly cooked. Bring it down here. So as you can see, pretty much thoroughly white. This is all breast meat, and that's what breast meat is supposed to look like when it is cooked. Now, some pieces may not be fully cooked, but we're still going to be cooking it a little bit more, but with everything else in there. So, whoop. So let's get the pasta out. And I made a little bit of a mess, but I'll clean that up later. All right, let's get that in there. Oops. Kind of overshot it a little bit. There we go. Let's get mixed up in there. Okay. All right. Now, Alfredo sauce that I prepared earlier. Oh, it thickened up a bit, but that's okay. We can take care of that with a little bit of the water from the pasta. Let's see, what did I do? Yeah, once I figured out what I did with my measuring cups, that is. actually, no, I think I'm going to leave it. Now, got my bacon over here. Get this all chopped up. Okay. Let's mix that in there. All right. Okay. Well, I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to let that cook. Actually, I'm going to bring it down to a simmer and cover it. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to let that cook for just a little bit more, maybe a couple of minutes more. And then when I'm done, I'll be ready to take it to the table. All right, so stay tuned, and I will be back. I'm back and at the table, and I'm getting ready to take my first bite. I'll show you what it looks like here. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, I'm going to season it with a little salt and pepper. All right, now. Alfredo sauce tastes really good, especially on the pasta. Now I got a piece of the chicken. Okay, I'm gonna get a piece of some bacon. There's a big piece. Very good. So, that is chicken fettuccine Alfredo. So, we learned how to make Alfredo. Well, I learned how to make Alfredo sauce. I hope, for those of you who didn't know how to make it, I hope it was very instructional. So, we made, so there's a bit of preparation. Made some bacon, made the Alfredo sauce, cooked up the chicken and well, first the pasta, then the chicken, and put it all together. It's like it's not a lot of steps, but the steps are time consuming, but the taste is worth it. All right. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share this video as much as possible, especially if you know anybody who would like to make this dish. Also, please go to Tabletop Jones Productions and do the same there. Like, subscribe, and share. Over here, I have reached 76 subscribers, so thank you very much for your support. I've actually surpassed my goal of 75, so the new goal is 100. 100 subscribers. Got to climb up that ladder, right? And on Tabletop Jones Productions, we're at 32 at the moment. We would like to make it to 50 so we could start live streaming games, make it a bit more interesting. So anyway, again, thank you for watching. In the description, I will have a link to my hobby Discord, as well as a link to my Patreon channel. A lot of these videos will appear as free content there, so feel free to sign up as a free member. But if you are so inclined, there will be exclusive content, and feel free to check it out. And also, I've been adding my email in case anybody wants to email me directly. Although give me some time because I'm not yet in the habit of checking my email frequently. So anyway, again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again. Have a great day. And just so you know, next month, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet for the cooking video, but I'll make sure it's a good one. All right, take care.